Hi everyone, welcome to Anita's Cake Bakery. With the Easter holidays not too far away, I've decided to show you how to create these cute cake toppers to go on top of your Easter cupcakes. You will learn how to make a baby lamb, a chick and a bunny. And I'll also show you how to use these Easter stencils. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to start by making the bunny first. So we need some white fondant or modelling paste. I'm using modelling paste today because it's that bit firmer. And I've also got pink, 2 shades of pink and some black. So we'll start with the white. Just knead it a little bit to make it soft and pliable. Just dust your surface with some corn flour. Right, so I've got my rolling pin. I'm going to make the ears first, so I'm going to roll the modelling paste a bit thinner than usual. This is around 3 millimeters or so, just a rough guesstimate there. And I'm going to use, I've got 2 cookie cutters here. This is a 6 centimeter and a 7 centimeter. So I'm going to use the 6 centimeter one now. Just cut out the circle. Actually, I think that's a bit too thick, so I'm just going to roll it a bit more. This is just for the ears, so. Right. Bit of dust, so let's cut that out again. So now I'm just going to cut just the 2 edges off the circle because that's the shape of the bunny's ears. So we've got one side there and another side there. So we've got this kind of shape. That's the bunny's ears. So I'm going to just cut the ends off here, just a small amount, because this is the part that we're attaching to the actual topper. And I'm just gonna, you know, sometimes the bunny's ear just folds over a little bit, so I'm just going to pull it down slightly so that it just folds down a bit, like that. And then I'm just going to dust the inside of the bunny's ear with some luster dust. So I've got shimmer pink luster dust here. Just the inside. There we go. So I'm just going to leave this to dry just slightly, just for a few minutes, so that it's easier to attach to the topper. And I'm going to get on with the next step, which is cutting the face of the bunny. So it's just another circle that we need here again. Just get these out of the way. Right, so just another circle, just roll these, or roll this rather, a little bit thicker than what the ears were. I'm using the plain edge size for the side for the face, not the scalloped edge. So just cut the circle. Right, any extra pieces of modelling paste, always make sure that you wrap it up because it will tend to dry out and it's not really workable when it dries out. So wrap it up in some cellophane or cling film or in a food bag. That usually does the trick. So that's the face. So we've got the ears. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some, here it is. I'm going to cut some blossom. So this is my blossom cutter. I think it's around, I'm trying to think, it's about 1.5, no it's not. I'm trying to think how big this is. It's just a few centimeters. I'll write it in the comments when I remember. So I'm going to cut some pink blossoms with the light shade of pink that I've got. I'm going to cut 3 of those. Just put that there. Right, so I've just put some corn flour because it's starting to feel a little bit sticky there. Alright, so I'm going to cut 3 of these. So that's 1, 2, 3, and we also need 2 white blossoms. Just grabbing the white. I really wanted to make some different animals for my toppers instead of the normal Easter bunny, Easter chick, you know. I was trying to think of what other animals are associated with Easter, but I honestly couldn't think of any. Oh yeah, and obviously the lamb. Can you guys think of any animals that are associated with Easter? Apart from these 3? Right, so I've got 2 white ones and 3 pink ones. And I'm going to put some edible pearls in the middle of these. Just got my paintbrush, I've just dabbed a slight bit of water on it. So I've got some gold pearls. And I'm going to put the gold pearls into the white ones. And I'm just looking for, I always seem to lose things when I'm on a live. It's right in front of me. And I've got some, like a shimmer white edible pearl as well. So I'm going to put that in the middle. Right. Always make sure you put the lid back on these pearls, because if you're like me, you'll probably knock it over and then the pearls go everywhere and they're a bit of a pain to pick up all those balls once they've fallen on the floor. That's happened to me on numerous occasions. Right, so the next thing is the bunny's nose. So I'm using a dark pink for the bunny's nose. Don't need a big amount, but just a small ball will be fine. So I've rolled it into a small ball and then flatten it down onto the surface and then just kind of shape it into like a triangle. Just like how a nose shape, well, an animal's nose shape is. It's a bit fiddly, but something like that should be okay. Actually, I think it's a bit too thick, so I'll just take a piece off. Roll it into a ball. And then flatten it. And then just make it into like a slight triangle. Okay, so that's the bunny's nose. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't know why I'm taking so long to get this the right shape. It actually doesn't have to be perfect. It's just the bunny's nose. Right, so that's done. And then the next bit we need to do is the eyes. So I'm using some black modeling paste for this. And we just need, again, just tiny balls again. So 2 tiny balls like this. This may even be too much, but okay, so take a bit of this one. So for this, I'm going to, so I've got a ball and I'm just going to roll it in the palm of my hand, and I'm going to make it into like a sausage shape. I don't know if you can, oops, I don't know if you can see that there. It's like a sausage, and then I'm going to just taper the ends slightly. So that's what we're looking for. So that's one. Sausage shape. And then taper the ends, just like that. I think one's a bit longer than the other, so I might have to cut the piece off. So now I'm just going to put this all together. So the ear should be a little bit drier now, so I'm just going to pinch the end of the ear. Don't know if you can see that, but it's really, I've just pinched it so it's like got a slight point to it, so it folds in a bit. Pinch both of them. And then using my paintbrush, I'm just going to dab a small amount of water on the top of the bunny's head. And then stick the first ear on. Maybe it could have dried for a little bit longer, so let's hope that it doesn't fall down while I'm putting this all together. Right, so the ears are on. Then I'm going to stick the blossoms on with some water again. So I'm start with the pink one first on both ends. Pink on either end, a pink in the middle, that's it. Right, pink in the middle, and then the 2 white ones in the gaps. That should also hold up the ear as well if it decides to fall down on us. Right. Then the next thing would be the nose, which goes around here. So we'll stick that on. Just going to shape it a bit. I think this nose is still a little bit too big for me, so I'm just going to cut some off the sides. It's a fiddly little nose here. Right, cut it off the sides. Just going to use my knife just to shape it so it's a bit more round and not so much like a triangle with the pointed sides, but just round off the sides a bit, all the edges. Right, so next are the eyes. Again, we're just going to use some water to attach these eyes. So that's one, and because my fingers are a little bit big, I'm just using the paintbrush just to shape the eyes. It's a bit tricky when your fingers are a little bit big like mine. Right, there we go. So that's, hold on a minute, let's just fix this eye. Right, so the bunny's done, but I want to make her cheeks a little bit rosy, so I'm going to use some of the luster dust again, just to make her cheeks nice and pink. I think it makes it look cute, a little bit more cuter when it's got rosy cheeks. Right, so that one's done. I'm just going to move it out the way. Just leave it there to dry off a bit because these ears are still a little bit soft, so I should really stop touching it because it's going to end up falling on me, so I'll leave that. So I'm going to get on with the other topper, which is just using the stencil. So this is a Happy Easter stencil. Basically, you just roll your modelling paste, knead your modelling paste rather, and just roll it. Just going to get some more corn flour. Starting to feel a little bit sticky, so on both sides. Right, so what I do is I roll the modelling paste first, and then sometimes I just brush the top of the stencil with some corn flour, or you can just dust the surface of your modelling paste, which I've done anyway, so it should be all right. That will stop this from sticking to the paste. So let's give this a go. So you just literally just push it in really. Just use your fingers to push it down so it's even, and then just pick it up. And there you've got the imprint, Happy Easter there, which is quite cute. So now I'm going to use the bigger cookie cutter, but this time I'm going to use the scalloped edge side, so that we've got a nice pattern around the edge of this one. So what I do is you're going to have to eyeball this, so just try and make sure that this is central over the writing. Then just push down, just take off the excess. Just wrapping it up there. So take off the excess, give it a bit of a shake around so that when I do this, it kind of makes the scalloped edge neat. So sometimes you have like some of the icing stuck in between, but if you give it a shake, it kind of stops that from happening. So I've done that, and that's got the Happy Easter on it. And now I'm going to cut another small blossom in pink. Okay. And this is just going to go on the bottom. Again, we need some water. Try and make sure that it's central. So I'm trying to make sure it's in the middle of the P of the happy. I think that's about right. And then I'm going to use a gold pearl for the middle. of the blossom. And also what I do around the topper is I take my Dresden tool and I'm going to use this end and I'm just going to poke holes around the scalloped edge, but I'm going to do it on every other scallop so that it gives it a nice little pattern right around. It's just pushing holes in it really, all the way around. There you go. So that's the second one done. So we've got our Easter bunny done. So the next topper I'm going to show you how to make now is the chick. So this time we need some yellow fondant or modelling paste. Let's just put these down here. Right, so I've got some yellow modelling paste here. Again, you can use fondant or sugar paste, as some people call it, but just to make it a little bit firmer, you can add some Tylo into it. Tylo powder, which is this. And this makes it go a little bit firmer, so it's a little bit like modelling paste, and it will dry harder as well. Right, so give this a knead and a roll. Roll this out. Right, so I'm going to use the smaller cutter for this again. All the faces I've used the smaller cutter for, and all of the stenciled toppers I've used the larger cutter for. So again with the smaller one again. So just put this down here. Right, does anyone have any questions you'd like to ask me? If you do, put them in the comments and I'll make sure to answer them as I go along or at the end. Right, so I'm going to use the blue for the shell of the egg. So this chick is breaking out of its shell. So I've got some, so this paste, I coloured it light blue and white, and I also added in a bit of light brown in there as well. So it's gonna have like a subtle marble effect to it. So you might be able to see it when I roll it out right now. See, I don't know if you can see, but like you can see the dark blues and some of the some light blue, and then the other colours in there. I just thought that it made it look a little bit more fun. I have seen chicks' eggs this kind of colour, like a duck egg blue, and so marbly effect. So I thought I'd try that. So again, I've cut another circle. And this time I'm going to cut a little bit off of the top of this circle, just like that. Maybe even cut a bit more, just a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some zigzag shapes on it, so it makes it look like it's a cracked shell. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just like an uneven zigzag shape. So I'm just cutting off like some triangles basically. So let's see if this is the right size. So actually I think it's a bit too big, because it means it's going to cover the chick's mouth. So I'm going to just get some more corn flour. It's getting a bit too sticky. So what I can do then, instead of cutting off the top again, I can just cut some off the bottom using the cutter. So I've just cut a tiny bit off there. Just cut that little piece off because... Right, so let's see if this works this time. Yep, I think that's okay. Maybe even a little bit more still. Just a tiny bit more. Don't know, I always like things to look perfect. Right, so we'll stick this on with some water. Like so. And then some more yellow for the chick's wings. So just 2 small balls of paste, like this. I think that should be about right. So roll it into a ball again. Then I'm going to taper one end so it's like a teardrop shape, and then flatten it slightly. And then flatten it slightly, so it's like a teardrop. Okay, so the same with the other one. Then flatten it. So we need 2 of those. And that's going to go here. So that's like one wing. And then that's the other one. And then I'm going to do, like the top of a chick usually has like a little tuft of hair, or the tuft of their feathers on the top. So I'm going to do 3 small teardrops to go just on the top of his head. So that's 1. This one's a bit too big actually. 2, 3. And that's going to be stuck just here. So that's 1, 2, 3. And last, no, it's not lastly actually, we are going to do the chick's beak. So I'm using some orange here for this. Not too much, and I do have a square cutter for this. So this is a small square cutter. So I'm going to just roll this paste out. I really find that working with modelling paste is so much easier when it comes to making cake toppers than using fondant or sugar paste, because it's easier to work with. It's hard. It's like a harder, not harder, but it's what's the word? it's a thicker, I suppose, and it's not so sticky as opposed to sugar paste, which is more sticky, and you'd have to add like more corn flour or rice and sugar to make it that less sticky, or even the Tylo to make it more firmer. But yeah, what struggles do any of you guys have? Have you ever come across any struggles that you've come across when modeling? Let me know in the comments. Oops, you lost the chick's beak there. So it's going to go around here. I think actually it's a bit too big, so I'm just going to cut some off the ends, off each end, because actually I think this square cutter was a little bit too big for this. So now it's like a diamond shape, and I've cut, not cut, but I've just scored a line in the middle, so it looks like a beak. There we go. And now I'm going to do the eyes, again with some black paste rolled into a ball again, roll it into a sausage shape, and then taper the ends. And actually I think again it's going to be too much, so let's take some off. I think it's still a bit too big. I think that's about the right size. It's quite tiny. Then I'll use these two bits that I broke off for the other one. Let's see if it's the right. Just take a bit more off. It doesn't have to be exact really, but I'm trying to get it as close as being the same as I can. Right, so with some water again, just stick these on. Either side. And then you can use the paintbrush just to try and get the shape pin right. Oops. And then again we're going in with some rosy cheeks for this chick with my shimmer pink dust. And that's our chick done. So that's, I'm going to put this to the side and get on with the stenciling again. So again, some more yellow. Some more yellow. Roll that out. If it's sticking to your rolling pin, just turn it over, because the other side obviously has corn flour on it, or you can just add some corn flour to your rolling pin, just like that, and then just dust that over. Right, so the stencil again, we're just going to push this in. It off using the bigger cutter with the scalloped edge side. I'm going to go round, just putting my head down so I can make sure that this is in the middle. Pull off the excess. And then, whoops, you dropped it there. I just feel like it was sticking a little bit, so I'm just going to dust the surface again. Right, so I'm going to go in with the Dresden tool. Again, I'm just going to poke some holes right around the edge. And that's your chick done. So we've done the bunny and we've now done the chick. So the next step is we're going to make the baby lamb. So for the lamb, I'm using some flesh tone modelling paste. So for this colour I mixed some caramel brown and paprika to make like a flesh tone colour. Right, so I'm gonna just knead it so it's a bit more soft and pliable, and then roll it in the palm of my hands, and then just roll this out. Just get some more corn flour. If anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to write a message in the comment box and I'll make sure that I reply to you. Right, so using a smaller cutter for this, actually just roll it a bit thinner. Right, cut out a circle. And I'm just going to pinch a little bit off because I need that for the ears, and then put the rest away. Right, to make the ears, it's just 2 small amounts of your paste, and again just roll it into a ball and taper the ends off so you've got a teardrop shape again, and then just flatten it slightly, flatten the bigger end slightly, just like that. So we're going to do 2 of those. Does anyone have any plans for the Easter holidays? Obviously I know that we can't really do anything now because of the lockdown, but I've got no plans anyway. But I do know I need to think of something to do with the boys. Something to keep them occupied. So I have to get my thinking cap on. Right, so I've got the 2 teardrops for the ears, and I need a little bit of black for the inner part of the ear. Just a tiny amount there. 2 balls again. Everything seems to start with 2 balls. So 2 balls and teardrops. Taper the end and press it in again like a teardrop shape. And just stick those with some water. Just move that out of the way. So we're just sticking that down on the inner part of the ear. Like so. And then we can just leave that to the side to dry. Right, so for the woolly effect of the lamb's wool, for the woolly effect, I'm going to roll some small balls of white fondant this time. So we really just need to pinch maybe about this much. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe if I put it down on the counter, you can see how small it is I've pinched off. So we need a few of these. It's a bit sticky, so I'm just adding a bit more corn flour. And these we're just going to stick on the head of the lamb, around the head. So I'm going to do maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 12 balls maybe. Approximately 12 balls. Don't have to be too big at all, and they don't have to be the same size either. Just random, really. Okay. Just move this rolling pin out of the way. I feel like it was about to roll off. A few more. Whoops. If it starts to feel a little bit sticky, you can just add some more corn flour. Right, let's just go with that for now. I think this one's a bit too big. Right, so using your paintbrush, just paint just like around the head and halfway down into the middle, like a triangle shape, I suppose. And then you can just place the balls on. Just a bit more water here. Right, just place the balls around the outside edge first. And then start filling in the middle. Kind of push them together, but you might need to put some water in between the gaps of the balls so that you can squeeze it together. Otherwise it won't stick properly. And you can just add some more along the edge there. Just get some more water. I think I might need to do another ball or two. A couple more balls. One for there. And one for there. Thinking maybe to put two more there actually. Just the two sides. And there. Okay, so something like that. So now I'm going to stick the ears on around there. So just put some water on both sides. Put the first ear like that. Slightly bend it down a bit so it's like a floppy ear. Same with the other side. And then I'm going to do the eyes and the nose with some black paste. So same method as what we done last time. Make a ball shape. Let's get some corn flour. Make a ball, make it into a sausage, and then taper the two ends. And again. Let's see, I think it may be a bit too big, so I'm just going to cut a bit off the end and re-taper it. Okay. Right. And then a tiny, like really tiny bit for the nose. So just a small bit of black. I don't know if that's too small, but we'll see. If it's too small, then I'll just add a bit more paste. So just paint some water where the eyes are going, Use the paintbrush to position it. Good. Okay. So this one looks a bit too fat, just roll it. Just cut some off the end actually. It was a little bit too fat. Right. Should be okay. Just going to put some corn flour underneath because I think it's a bit sticky there. Right, and then the nose just goes there. But, oh, I thought I'd lost the nose, here it is. Just a little button nose. Right, so now we need 2 pink bows just to go here, either side of the lamb's ear. So I'm just going to get my pink paste. I actually think that the lamb is my favourite topper out of these three, actually. Out of these 3 animals. It's just so cute. What's your favourite one? Right, let me just put some corn flour just in the mould. So I'm using this bow mould here. So I've just put some corn flour inside just to help it, well, so that it doesn't stick and then it's easier to come out of the mould. Usually I put it in the freezer for a little bit actually, just so that it comes out easier. But let's just try, see if I can unmold it. Yep, that's fine. And let's do another one. Cut off the excess with your knife. Okay, that's all in. You can just prise it apart before you try and pop it out. If you put this in the freezer for a couple of minutes, it just falls out. So much easier, but seems to be okay at the moment. So anyway, let me just brush some water here on either side of the ear. And because it's quite soft, it's really delicate, so the first bow goes there, and the second bow goes here. And to finish off, obviously I'm sure you know what I'm going to do next. I'm going to get out my shimmer pink and dust the cheeks. Oh, it's so cute. Okay, and that's the lamb done. Just going to move it over a bit to do the last one, which is just the stenciled one with the Happy Easter. So I'm going to get some more of the same colour. And knead the paste again. And using the stencil, this way, just push that in gently. Use my finger just to make sure it's pushed down, and then lift it off. Sometimes if you press too hard, it imprints the outer edge of the stamp imprints into the fondant, but that's okay. You can just smooth that out with your finger, and anyway the cutter's going to hide that anyway when you cut around it. Just making sure that this is central. Using the scalloped side of your cookie cutter, press firmly. Take off any excess. Let me wrap it up. So there's some bits here that I haven't wrapped up and it's actually starting to go a bit hard. So right, that's done. And then I need a white bow just to go on the side. So let's use some of this. This one's not too hard. Push that in. Take off the excess with a sharp knife. Prise it apart. Oops. Prise it apart. And then just gently unmold it. And this is going to go just on the corner here, next to the happy. Right, so these toppers are actually all done now, but there's one last thing that I want to do to finish them off. Let's just try and get this off first. See, this is what happens sometimes if you don't, when you use your cookie cutter, once you've pushed it into the fondant or the modelling paste, if you don't like jiggle it around like that, I find, this is what I find anyway, if you don't always do that, you get these bits here. You get these bits here that, I don't know if you can even see it really. If I put my hand there, you might be able to see it. These bits here that are like hanging off. So what I do is I can just use my finger or a tool actually just to push that bit. It's like dried paste really. You can just use your finger just to push into the grooves, and that usually gets rid of like the excess bits that are hanging off there. So that's okay now that I've done that. Right, so I'm just going to move this all off and I'm going to show you what I like to do next. This is the finishing touches really. I'll just move them down so you can see all of them. So we've got the bunny, the chick and the lamb. Right, what I like to do now is, I have some gold spray. So I've got some gold pump spray here, and I just like to spray over all the toppers just so it gives it a little bit of sparkle, which I love. So I think this is finishing actually, so I'm just going to knock it to make sure it's all at the bottom, and then just spray over it. Honestly, it really makes it shine and glisten, and that really gives it the finishing touch. I don't even know if you can actually see it on screen, but it's really, really sparkly when you use this. It's like a dry spray pump. That's it. So that's actually all the toppers, but one last thing, I did say that was the last thing, but there is one more thing I want to show you. So you might want to know how to put these on top of your cupcakes. So I'm just going to show you on one of them. Just move them out of the way. So I've got one cupcake here, and I'm going to use I'll use the one that's the driest, probably the bunny. Actually, no, I won't use the bunny. I'll use this chick. So I've got some buttercream here. Just wipe the nozzle. I've got some buttercream here, and I've just got a round nozzle on the nozzle tip. I can't remember the number of it, but I will put it in the comments. And basically, so on top of your cupcakes, you don't even need a lot. Just a small blob like that. It's literally all you need. And then you can just place your topper on top like that. And that's it. That's it. So that's all the toppers. We've got our chick, and we've got our lamb, and we've got our bunny. So thank you all for joining me this evening. I hope you enjoy making these toppers as much as I did. And also, just to let you know, next week I'll be on a Wednesday instead. Going forward, it's going to be every Wednesday, still at the same time, 7 o'clock. And I hope to see you all there. Take care of yourselves and see you soon. Bye.